Alright, episode of 114 of the challenge series hath arrived. I am now Shakespearean, deal with it. And we start things off at Dragon Trails, seaside layout, the only one that actually matters, because I don't like, the other one sucks. Like, at least to me, I hate the gardens layout. So, we could have used it, we just don't, we just use seaside every time instead. But yeah, the 675 class, had to think about that for a second, we'll kick things off this week, starting right in the middle. For the first of 3 races in Europe this week, so get used to that as we get going here. And with that, we are away from Dragon Trail. Almost said Trail Dragon. That's not a word, not a term. And I see we're off to a shocking start, as this idiot is a POV driver, and she's already made a deal of hitting at least two of my teammates in this race. Already given both Hanyo and Maki car damage. And he's continuing to give Maki more of a push. She actually gets smacked off the road by Noir, which I found was kind of funny. Like, even people outside of the team are starting to get a little bit impatient with your shit, Arisa. Oh, yeah, gives the Evo a smack, but the Evo actually hits back on her, so... And again coming to blows with Noir, but she doesn't really get quite as aggressive this time. Another hit on the Evo. I thought it was kind of obscured by the camera, but somebody is locking up near the front. She hasn't been able to find a spot to get into to hit Nozomi yet. That's about the only one she hasn't crossed off. And even like Stephanie's being a little pushy with the Skyline driver, and she's getting pushy back. No one respects your space on the road, Arisa. I'm not sure if you noticed. Passes Nico surprisingly normally. I'm genuinely convinced that because she's not on Mercury or on NFR... No, wait. Kotori got damage from something completely separate from that. She got laid on the brakes and fell on the back of Futaba, so... It gave her a lot of momentum, but it also gave her front end damage, so that's a yikes. Right into the back of Honoka, damage to the NSX now. Yeah, I mean, it's the thing of like, she's not doing anything particularly wrong, she's just making a lot of contact, and it feels like a very, it's very targeted towards a specific couple, 2 specific teams of drivers, and not even the entirety of those teams. She's never hit me, and she's never hit, like, Sammy or Tetsuya off DPT. It's only those who were formerly school idols. But she doesn't hit Nico for some reason. And I'm pretty sure at this point it's because she's too dumb to realize that not every school idol in the series is on Mercury or DPT. Because Nico's having her own little hissy fit, and she's on NFR instead. Oh my god! Fenny just got destroyed. She just bottomed out on the way down the hill, and that, I'm surprised that wasn't a DNF for the Testarossa. What? What's a... Pantera, right here. Yeah, she doesn't know that Nico used to be a school idol because she's having her own hissy fit. She's on NFR. She's not associated with the rest of the school idols at the moment. So, Arisa just doesn't even think that she's in the same category, and doesn't ever attack her on the track like she is literally everybody else. That, or maybe she finds some sort of camaraderie with Nico, since, they both currently hate the other school idols. What kind of I see you're coming to your senses type shit. Up. Now that didn't damage the force. You're gonna have to try a little harder than that. I'm sure you will. Oh, yep. Still nothing. Oh, yep, there it is. Just wouldn't stop, would you? Oh, and attempted pit maneuver, but Ellie wasn't born yesterday, so that didn't work. Okay, that's a little more blatant. And shoving her off into the sand. Causing her to be overtaken potentially by Pepper Mills additionally. But based on the way that the Challenge Series rules are, this isn't even necessarily punishable. Because the rule is you can drive aggressively, just don't act out of intention to harm your other racers, the fellow racers. It doesn't seem like she's trying to actively hurt them. She's not spinning them out at high speeds or running them off the road. She's just giving them a hefty rear-end contact every time she sees one, giving them damage and take them out of contention, but not actively, like, hurting them, just giving us a repair bill to make. Because Cygames is on board, makes that repair bill a hell of a lot more manageable nowadays. Because that's the crazy part about that sponsorship. Those that don't know, the sponsor pays us based on total mileage, but that is actually tracked separately between all cars that are running. So, wow, Pepper. I think Ellie might actually let her by because of damage. But even still, yeah. So Pepper grabs second. Arisa is way up the road in the lead. Natsuki is fending off Scott Webber and potentially Nozomi for third place. The one school idol other than Nico in this race who's been allowed to survive, just about. And wow, like 2/3 of this field got damaged somewhere during the race. Because Kotori got damaged on lap 1 and she's in 8th. So Taro and Nico are fighting for 6th, and they're the two lowest running cars who have not been damaged somewhere along the way. And I thought Tokyo was bad from last week, but this is just as bad. Of course, Arisa wasn't in that Tokyo race, so she's responsible for the damage of at least 4 or 5 of those cars. She's lucky she's not associated with a team, or she'd probably be building her team with at least some of these repairs, since, you know, with the exception of Kotori, every school idol in this race, Yo, Haneo, Honoka, Ellie, Maki, all got damaged because she decided that she didn't feel like slowing down behind them. So, yeah. And again, I might really need to revise the Challenge Series rulebook, because until she acts completely out of line and attempts to, like, physically harm somebody, either on or off the racetrack, us admins cannot do shit about it. So, for the time being, Arisa will head up the hill out of the final kink and take a victory of all time here at Dragon Trail. Pepper Mills will cross in second, and Scott Webber will trudge his way up to third in that 350Z. Nearly up to second. If he had another lap in it, he might have been able to get Pepper. He was running pretty quick laps there, as you can see. He has the lap record today. 43.5. That is fast. So, yeah, that is Nozomi. Oh, actually, oh yeah, Natsuki's gonna win that drag race. Yeah, that it's starting to tick me off. I'm not even the one getting hit. I'm the one that's being avoided, necessarily. So, and it's still ticking me off. So, it's taking off the rest of my team as well, and a lot of DPT. And clearly quite a few other people, if Noir's on-track actions are anything to go by. So, yeah, Artis is not making any friends out there. And race 2 of the week's races saved, sort of, not really, will bring us to Italy for the Lake Maggiore circuit. 4 laps here with the 640 category now. Still never got stale after the Clubman Cup, clearly, and now we've pretty much gotten back to the point where we're sort of back to the status quo for the next month or so, so I say that. With the different rivalries festering right now, I can hardly say it's anything normal. Status quo, I think, is still kind of out the window, just regarding the categories we're using, and really nothing else. But, yeah, 640 class, Lego Meteor is generally one of the better tracks for action here in the Challenge series. One of the ones that was, I think, in the original first week of the series, so it's got a bit of staying power, to say the least. I guess we'll see what it brings us today. And we are green from Lake Maggiore. Because we're staying in Europe, a lot of the same faces from the last round are sticking around. In fact, the same front row, the very, 1, 2, and sort of 4, no, 3, I think, no, he's not there. The two leaders were in the last race. It didn't really achieve the greatest results. So, I think this duo of NFR drivers will be looking to make up for that here. Taro was in the last race, Yo, Pepper, the list goes on. But one person that was not in the last race is Logan Cool, who is our POV driver of this race in his Camaro. As August is taking a new racing line there, well saved from them, but hey, that's not really where the car is supposed to go. Probably didn't need to tell them that either. Scott Weber also still in this race, so the top 3 from the last round are all here because Aris is running in dead last at the moment. Front-wheel drive didn't get her anywhere off the starting grid. Yeah, actually none of the top 3 from that race started really well. Taro is fine, he's started pretty well, all considered. And he ran like 5th or 6th before, I think. Man, my head isn't she? Oh boy, here we fucking go again. A slight touch from Fidel Fabian as well. Alright, who's the one getting sent to a wall? Oh, Vert's trying, Vert's almost successful. Saved by Logan. The horn is blaring. Newstein is turned into an innocent bystander. And she's just trying to run her race. There's the contact from Logan to Vert. Their cars are both damaged. And that's apparently not enough for the Camaro. That's a pit maneuver. And that brings out a yellow flag because I believe that left Vert's car stranded in the grass. You can see him trying to get out there. He's also Logan is spinning at the moment because he got turned by Newstein as he rejoined the circuit. This is just chaos all around. Here's a better view of exactly what happened, I reckon. Maybe. Well, there's the pit maneuver. And then in trying to recover the car, gets turned himself by Liv Newstein, and he himself gets stuck in the grass as he hits the wall pretty hard, so that takes both cars out of the running. As Verts was stuck in, on top of being stuck in the grass. You can usually drive a car out of the grass, but their suspensions were fucked because they kept hitting each other. So, yeah, that brought a yellow, and because the leader had not started lap 2 yet, we just waved off the race start, basically added a 5th lap to the race, and decided we're just going to try and have a normal race without these two idiots trying to kill everybody in sight. So, we shall be back here momentarily for the restart. And the restart from Lego Maggiore is also away. Just took the running order from where they were running at the 2-minute mark, minus Vert and minus Logan, and went green from there. Which now means that Arisa is once again the POV driver. I think that might be a series first. A bit of metagaming, but I think that might be the first time that a driver has been the POV driver on the consecutive days. Not technically 2 times in a row, since, Logan was supposed to be the POV driver until he went and DNF'd his car. And got a stern talking to in the garage area post-race. But, he and Vert, Rebecca is sliding off, again saved kind of mimicking what August did at the start of the original attempt at the race. But so Rebecca got back on the track a little quicker. Probably because she could easily rejoin with nobody near her on the track. Kind of looking at the front-wheel drive convention here. We got a EK Civic, a Golf 7, a DC2, and a FK8 all running in a row here. Kind of funny. Finny Golden is very clearly trying to make some kind of amends following her disastrous collision at Dragon Trail when she bottomed out in braking zone and somehow didn't DNF for Pantera or Testarossa, because I for some reason thought it was. Don't ask, I don't know. Liv Mustein's eating good off the restart, considering she was like running like 11th or something like that. When, you know, she was running in a spot that she got involved in the Logan Burt tangle, and now she's looking at the podium if she plays her cards right. And speaking of 11th, that is where the troublemaker is. At least this time, there are nowhere near as many school idols in the race. Yo and Umi are the only ones. Most of us, you know, are busy most of them are busy fixing us. Most of the others are busy fixing their cars from the last race. And she couldn't even get a chance to hit Yo, because Taro played blocker, probably not intentionally, but he did by, you know, by coincidence, he put his big Super B in the way, and that meant that Arisa could not find an angle to attack the GTO from, but Umi up here is completely defenseless, I fear. She's got a little bit of defensive driving in her, but I don't know. She's usually too polite to have to resort to that kind of thing, even if she's pushed that far. There's the bump. Now, if it just stopped there, of course it's not going to fucking stop there. I don't even get it. Oh boy. That's a PIT. And, yeah, at that point, it wasn't even me or anybody relevant. It was Nittery at Race Control, I believe, for this one. And she called it there. Even though Umi didn't hit anything, and as you can see, she doesn't get out of the grass. So, okay, yeah. That was actually counted as the end of the race. This is what Nittery tells me. It was getting too dark to continue racing. So, you know, because this race was supposed to have been over a handful of minutes ago, but we had to do all of the restart procedures. This would technically be the middle of lap 3 if lap 1 had been able to finish. But, yeah. Fuck me. Just, yeah, we got a bunch of fucking maniacs out here. So Fenny is the winner. Liza second, Liv will end up with third. The race was called at the 3:25 mark, according to Nittery, so we just inched forward a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Fenny, Liza, Liv, and then Noir. So 1-4 for NFR. Arisa will technically be granted 6th on the countback, but like, I mean, if she's caused 2 incidents like that in one day, I feel like as an admin team, we need to look at maybe, you know, bending the rules, because she's gonna just keep doing this. She's done this every time she's shown up to a race. It's getting tiresome, both as a teammate of the driver she's hitting and as an admin trying to deal with the fact that we have a driver that's just going out and targeting a specific subgenre of driver. Oh, what's that? You used to sing as a hobby? Oh, well, fuck you. Third race of the week is upon us, and let's pray for some normality here. Normalcy, normality, normal. I suppose normal is relative, but, you know, let's actually get to the end of the race without somebody being intentionally wrecked. that's not really so much to ask at this point. As we get into the 7:15 class race here from Grand Valley. And my head continues to itch infinitely, apparently. And we are green from Grand Valley. And good news, Arius isn't in this category, and Demon Sports isn't in the race. So, theoretically, we should be fine to have an actual race here, finally. I don't know how they fixed this fucking 400Z. I really couldn't tell you, but they got it fixed in less than a week, and it's running here in this race. Probably helps with, they didn't have to bring it very far away from where it was being worked on, since Noah literally lives in this state. As do the vast majority of the members of his courses, for that matter. Bert, Noah, Kurt's taking residence here, as is Marky, even though they were born in Georgia. Torque lives here. I don't really know where the other members of the team live. I don't remember where Rip Thompson or Tony Berry are from. But we are on board with Barbara Page. Yeah, back to the one that's actually relevant right now. She is slowly picking her way through the back half of the field, which has a considerable amount of school idols who are taking advantage of the fact that Arisa Ichigaya doesn't even have a 715 class car, so she literally could not be here. Barbara tries to follow Captain Falcon through on the inside of the turn here. She doesn't quite get anywhere, unlike Falcon, who gets up one place. Oh, there we go. She just caught Honoka sleeping on the exit and moved through to 13th place. And passed Falcon on the exit of the chicane even more so. Nearly contact with Siegfried Brandt. He's making his first start in that S13 in quite some time, and oh god. Still be a jump scare for Barbara, who nearly loses control on the way into the turn, and I think beeps her horn, yeah. She did not like being nearly run over by Siegfried there, and the contact with Dante Wright didn't make her feel any more comfortable either. Back ahead of the other C8, and sticks her nose down the inside of Brandt ahead of Ellie. Nope, never mind, caught in the braking zone. Caught up in traffic. This mid-pack right now is very congested. And Paul Valentine coming to a literal stop at this left-hander. I get he's trying to give Ellie space, but like, holy crap, your car can turn better than that, I'm sure. Into the top 10 for the VAT. We have 5 laps here, so this is going to be on the longer side of racing here in the Challengers, especially considering this isn't even part of a championship or anything. It's just a regular, it's just a Wednesday, literally. Matthew Stotts is holding up a huge train of cars. Brian Ice is going to escape that train as I speak, and Barbara's going to send it on both of them to get out of here. Usually she's patient, but not right now. Not that I blame her. I wouldn't want to be waiting in that train of cars either. Not that I know anything about being in that train. I am ahead of them all, battling Stephanie in a very sketchy place. This wasn't much safer if you were to ask me. As Rip Thompson almost took the lead away from Nidori, but could not. His run stalled out. He had the better run out of the tunnel, but the Lamborghini just has better power. I end up moving officially to third, and Barbara has joined the battle, bringing John Garrison along with her, and Brian Ice is, well, okay, not that close, actually. Around the outside goes the Corvette of Stephanie, and I didn't even see her there. Honest to God, I thought she was still running 2x2 with Kaiser, but no. I got a good old C8 jump scare, and I nearly wrecked both of us because I didn't know she was there. back of Thompson. Past one Viper, but there's still another one. Oh, well, that Viper can't really keep his tires under control, and he almost spins out of the hairpin there. Easy pickings for the Corvette. Now, just one admin left to overtake. In the form of the Kappa up there in that Lambo. Been a good run. The Lamborghini's got some straight line power, though. It's going to be a little easier said than done to finish that off. Inside lane does help. And she rolls through into the race lead, having just passed the halfway mark of the event, really. Oh, well, that's not the line. I say that's not the line, but all that's really going to do is just back up the other five behind her. And she's very brave through the tunnel, as we've seen here. 143 at the apex. That is obscene. I didn't dare go over 130 at the apex of that, right? Not here. I am going to try and establish my dominance. I will beat the other Viper, man. Our cars look like opposites, which is funny because there is one that is literally just my car with a negative filter in the series, but they ain't here. This ain't about them. I will assert my dominance on the other danger noodle on the track. Knock knock, Nidori. Not even four-wheel drive could help Nidori get a good run out of that turn, so I'm going to take full advantage of that. I feel like I become the POV driver once Barbara got into the lead at this point. Because I'm the only one near the top two that's really making progress up the field, all considered. And now that I've made my way to second, and Barbara's some 2.5 seconds up the road because I took so long to get here, that's pretty much settled everything. Forward a bit for the sake of time, and Nidori is once again having a really awkward run through these high-speed turns, and Rip Thompson gives her a chrome horn to try and get a bump and run. It's a bold move to pull that on an admin, my guy. But, I mean, it works. And Nidori's handling is very clearly affected by it, as she's having to basically jam the brakes to make that turn safely. Which Stephanie will also take advantage of. Maybe not the most fantastically clean driving from Rip Thompson, but you know, that's not exactly like, you know, it's not malicious. It's literally just, hey, I'm passing you. I'm gonna pass you, as this team owner would probably say. And yeah, he indeed passed her. Yeah, Barbara just kind of got to the lead, and I mean, look at that. Like, look at the nerves on her to take the tunnel corner like that. 145 at the apex? Fuck that. She'll cross the line at maximum speed to take the victory from Grand Valley and the fastest lap. By a fair bit, for that matter. It'll be a Viper double podium between me and Rip Thompson. Stephanie fourth, and a slightly banged up Nidori will cross into fifth. The damage that she took actually caused her to fall back to the second pack of cars running behind John Garrison, Ryan Ice, and Nozomi. So, yeah, she's lucky the race didn't go on any further. Well, actually, if the race went on any further, she'd probably have pit for that damage. But, yeah, relatively normal, especially compared to the two races we've had thus far, so no real complaints there. On to the fourth one. And we are here for the fourth very chilly race of this week, which takes us to Lake Louise here in the Canadian Rockies for the special conditions category. And, oh boy. I'm used to it, and a few others are, but there are just some people in this series who are not used to coming to places like this. It's almost comical in like a really messed up way to just see some people just like in their like winter, like in their winter gear and their fire suits, and just like quivering because it's like 5 below here, 7 below, somewhere around there. I don't even know for sure. It's fucking cold. And some like the ones that live in or near mountains or have been up to mountains like this, or if you're like me or my dad who live in Minnesota, it just kind of seems like second nature, and I'm just kind of like, what's wrong with you guys? Why are you having such a problem with this? But I digress. Into the actual race, I suppose. And we are green from the snow event, and Dakota immediately runs into the back of somebody almost. He has to take evasive action, as there are two rear-wheel drive cars in front of him that don't go very far off the grid at all. Frickin' Katamatsu is the POV driver in his big off-road capable van. Surprising how good this thing is off-road. I mean, it is a van, it does have ground clearance, but it's no pickup truck and it's no rally car either. Speaking of rally car, we do have two new ones in the race. One is a debuting car for an existing driver in the form of Penny Golden, the 2014 Subaru Impreza, to make it a third different Impreza on NFR, along with Uni's 22B and Noir's GD. And we also have, well, we have Ida Cazador making her Special Conditions Cup debut, but not a new driver nor a new car. And we also have Life Bestia? I think it's Bestia. Like the root of beast, I think? I don't know. Just kind of popped up out of nowhere and was like super interested in running this kind of race here at Lake Louise, but not super interested in running anywhere else. So I guess it stands to reason if we're gonna have a sort of special conditions ringer like Fiona Fidanzi, then it would kind of make sense we got somebody who runs only the snow races too, if that is what's kind of coming from that. Currently, Futaba is the leader. She is definitely one of those who, when she's not in the vehicle with the heater running, is an absolutely miserable wreck in these kinds of temperatures. She's used to wearing a lot less than that, so yeah. But the rest of the top three have no such issues. Juan literally lives in like a snow dimension, and I live in Minnesota, which is basically a snow dimension. What is Katamatsu cooking out here? Oh, he's cooking a crossover move that absolutely just ruined me. That's what he's cooking. He nearly slams in the back of Blonde. Let's just jam the brakes, did not do that. Around the outside. The most maneuverable minivan you ever did see. This is the short layout of Lake Louise, by the way, so a longer lap than on the oval, but it's still not quite the, you know, nothing like the layout we've used the last few times we've run here. Lap time clocking just under a minute on a good lap here. So, you know, 7-lap race, 7 minutes. Simple math. Yeah, as I was mentioning before with Bestia in her, kind of mint, Yaris here. I don't really know her deal. Like, she's just kind of here. Like, she just showed up. She has a weird name. Her name is literally Life with a Y. Like, her name just came in from, like, full, like, Germanic English type. Because that was, like, the old way to spell life, I guess. I literally had to look up the etymology of this person to understand who they were. I don't know, that doesn't say everything you need to know about this character. I don't know. NFR is kind of floundering around back here in the mid-tack. 8, 9, 10, 11 for all 4 of them, and yeah, that's not particularly impressive. What? Oh yeah, that's the lighting. That looks fake. Just the random blue lights there making even the dirt, or like the dust that gets picked up with different colors. Also, Kadomatsu is way in the lead now. I totally missed all of that. I'm an amateur. You watched him get ahead up the hill there, and it wasn't long before he got 2 and ahead of the Tundra with just late braking. Actually, I think we did show that. I did show this on the screen, like by not even noticing that I had shown the pass for the lead because I was talking about something else. I was talking about lap times, I think. But yeah, that's how Kadomatsu got to the lead, and he has since run away with it. As you can see, he's not running away with it. Riho is still very much just there. But, I mean, he's out of here. I think he has mentioned he has been up to the mountains once or twice with his van, so he does know what he's doing on this kind of track. Like, I think it was Mount Aso? Aso? I don't know. I don't remember the name. I'd have to look. I don't know where I'd look, but I'd have to look. He's getting been understeer, he's taking out some cones, but he got through the turn. Blonde is under just assault from the F-150 brigade of me and Dakota, apparently. He has more power, but he just doesn't have the traction. 160 maniac! Almost 170 here. She's very clearly extended the hell out of those gears, because normally this thing doesn't even bother to get over 140. But just the way that the trucks and apparently fucking Kadomatsu are able to absorb bumps and everything here, even though she's running 7/10 faster, which is quick enough for her fastest lap, she's still getting hunted by myself and by Dakota, because I'm just able to kind of know what the truck's going to do better because it's a truck. It's more designed for roads like this, and I'll just slide on through into the podium spots on her. And Dakota, I expect, will probably follow her through in a minute. 1 lap to go. Riho gets a huge bump there, and she has to brake early to try and not lose control of the vehicle. Wow, I don't think I've seen anybody actually make that transition so smoothly before. He is wrestling that steering wheel. He has the utmost confidence as he hits the final turn. Chalk up another shocker for me. I really didn't think Kadomatsu really had the stones for a snow race, but I mean, if he has been up to Japanese mountains before, this probably isn't too different. So he will head across the start-finish line. The minivan claims another one. I end up beating Futaba at the line, basically. Or, okay, not literally at the line, but I'm apparently more confident in this braking zone than anybody else. I don't know what it was, but I made up so many passes here. And that got me P2. I think Riho actually tried to outdrag my truck, but the straightaway wasn't long enough for that. And so it was P2 for me, P3 for the pole sitter. Blonde ran for her life and held on to 4th over Dakota, and Yo will come home in 6th. 7th on debut for Life Bestia, but not far ahead of Uni. And that'll wrap things up here for the Frostbite track. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did get Frostbite today. Somebody who's like Chica or Yo, they are miserable in this place. Because they're used to like a sunny seaside town. Like Uchiura is. That's the city they actually came from. I always say Numazu, but that's not actually where they live. That's the closest thing to them. It'd be like saying that I live in, like, Minneapolis, because that's just the biggest city in Minnesota. That's absolutely false. I live nowhere near there. I'm like 4 hours away from there, actually. So, yeah. Head itches. Again, that's been a recurring thing this episode. So I can scratch my head in peace, on to race 5. Roulette race takes us to the Monza Autodrome. I don't even know why or who in their right mind on the admin team decided this track was a good idea. Considering all of the chaos and damage we've already had this week, I feel like a roulette race at Monza is just asking for complaints. Then again, I also feel like the drivers should know what they're getting themselves into when they even show up to a race like this. So same with Tokyo East. One who fears loss is already lost, especially if they fear having to lose some money on fixing their car. Bigger problem for some teams than others, and that's why, despite being, you know, sort of the home team, I suppose, Scuderia Ferranti is, I believe, completely absent, if I remember correctly. We are green from Monza, and okay, that was actually a straight up lie. Eric is here, but he also kind of has his own separate income, his own, you know, his separate net worth from the Familia. So he doesn't really have to worry so much compared to if Francesca or Fernando were here. As Nico in her MR2 is the POV driver, and she nearly got dive-bombed by her own teammate who's in a category 2, or 2 categories beneath her. Yeah, they already got the Pantera fixed. Considering what happened to it earlier this week, I'm surprised, and relatively impressed. Mind you, I know Fenny is bringing a lot of money to that team, but still. And apparently she's not very happy with me either. Not in like a, you're a bad person or a bad driver, but just kind of like, why would you do that? That's just what Noir is telling me, but she hasn't exactly told me why. I don't think she understands it either, which would be my guess. Oh god. Huh. Alright, well that isn't really what I thought was the case. So technically, oh god. Oh god, Thomas's car is destroyed. How is this thing even still running? It's got engine damage, it's got like 5 different kinds of damage. I don't really know if he's going to be getting that one fixed. Oh, that's pathetic. I didn't know that. Yeah, so technically Logan drove into the back of Bert, but we got some assistance because Kevin Bagstrom shoved my dad into the back of him and shoved him into the back of Bert, and then Bert got into the back of somebody else. I think it was Shoji, but he has front damage, not rear, because I don't know. And then Emmy has rear damage because I think he was shoved into her. So, usual Monza turn 1 bullshit going on there. And we catch back up with the race leader. Nico has a pretty decent safety net, but Iwasaki is in second place, and that's going to basically be her main competition. Kevin's got damage, he's in the back, and I don't even remember who the other 750 class car is in this race. Oh, it's me. It's me, and I got smacked around too, so, you know. That's why I asked, I don't know who thought this was a good idea. Because that's just the bitterness talking, because it didn't help me. And Kevin actually got through that with no damage. I guess that means that we just built it. Yeah, I just didn't even have a chance to avoid Thomas there. There was nothing I could really do. He was moving over into me. We're only a lap into this race, and the field's already pretty much spread out to where everyone's going to end up being by the end of the race. We got a 640 class fight between Kotori and Maki. It's about the only two positions swapping hands. Maki ends up understeering into a bit of gravel, so Kotori is going to remain where she is. Looks like Fenny's time might be running short here in 4th place. She's doing well to keep that car there, but Kevin Bergstrom is going to have a huge handling advantage the second we get off this main straightaway. And the Z4 is no slouch in a straight either. He's looking at he's going all the way for it. That was a smooth attempt. Didn't quite pay off, but not many people I know can execute that so smoothly and predictably. Fenny gave him the width for it. I think that was like a challenge on Fenny's part, like, do it, see what happens, and she didn't think it would actually work as well as it did. She's fighting him for it. The Pantera is going to have a small speed advantage on straights, which wouldn't matter too much on any track except for this one, since it is Monza, with 3 big ones and a decently long run towards the second chicane. Curva Grande is basically flat in most cars, so is still not having made the pass yet. Too wide door-to-door contact. I don't think there was any meaning behind that one. Eventually, Fenny's going to have to let it go, and Kevin get into 4th place with no damage, just a little bit of time loss, but ultimately, I don't think he's going to get any higher. Mika Harris is several seconds ahead of him, and she's riding in Iwasaki's wake. The fact that she's even keeping up with this guy is kind of surprising, considering that's in a category higher than her Mustang is. Kotori and Maki are still going at it for a 7th and a 640 category lead. They don't really have too much to worry about at the moment, but Logan and Vert are approaching. Which, that is actually a big thing to worry about, because they'll probably wreck each other along the way. Too wide in the Parabolica for the Mercury duo. At this point, I feel like this is just a showcase more than a race for these two. This is an exhibition battle. Kotori again defends. Here comes Burt Wheeler in the Camaro. And somehow Maki blocked him. Logan had damage from something completely different. This was all the way back at the end of at the start of the second lap. He's trying to leave the pit lane. And he has to. Emmy's just not moving very fast, but he didn't pit at the end of the following lap, as we see here. He tried battling Ver despite his damage. Yeah, as you can see here, they fought, and they surprisingly didn't commit homicide or try. As crazy as it is to go too wide through here in the first place, and Vert tries to, cheese him off the circuit, but Logan did hang on to the road. And he doesn't pit there, despite Vert now running away. Now we skip forward to present time, and, okay, I don't think Vert could have possibly predicted that. As much of a maniac as he's been lately, he's only been a maniac towards Logan and his team. Maki just moved over randomly after Kotori didn't give her the lane on the inside. This is kind of forcing his way ahead of Kotori, but now he's got damage again, so it's not even going to matter. Man, the field spread out a lot at the front. And then I get up to them, and now their battle's over because Maki already has damage, so I guess it made my job easier. Other than Maki trying to race me for 9th place. And I hooked the curb because I'm trying not to run into her, and I end up running into her anyway, so task failed. But it's not like it could have gotten any worse for her, since she already had damage. Skipping ahead like a whole lap here, and there's only like one battle on this whole track. That's even worth noting. That's Eric. And Fenny's in a category lower than him, so this is pretty much procedural here. Despite her best efforts to sit in the middle of the track and use that strategy to keep Eric behind, that's only going to get her so far. What the heck? This thing is 190. That thing's a secretly a 715 class car. That kind of top speed, I swear to God. If she took the slot back from Eric, this is not procedural at all. What the hell? Try a little harder now, but he can't really get too aggressive, unlike Fenny, who absolutely can and absolutely will. The race time is now expired. So this is effectively a pass for position. Nico's in the midst of traffic as she heads towards the last turn, but we'll keep our eyes on this battle for 5th on the circuit. Or 5th on the leaderboard, however you want to look at it. Down the inside. Squeeze administered. Eric doesn't care. But he's going to actually have to make a good set of corners to get away from the Pantera. Nico wins handily over Admin Iwasaki here. Mika Harris wins the 715 category, gets podium overall. And Fenny, who could not keep Eric at bay, gets the 675 category. And Kotori gets the 640 after Maki gets taken out of commission by her own clumsy driving. And Tomas Pager wins the 600 class with a 12th overall finish in a 600 class car, which is, I think, just says more about the number of people that got damaged during the race. And, you know, indeed, Thomas had to retire to the pit lane after lap 1 because his car was just that badly damaged. Not a totaled necessarily, but that's going to be a process to fix, I reckon.